Welcome to Your Spiritual Besties Podcast. I'm Lauren Leduc.
And I'm Rashida McCoy. We're here to laugh, cry, learn, and connect with you.
We discuss anything and everything from our everyday lives to the magical, mystical, and woo-woo.
So take a deep breath, grab a cup of tea,
and set an intention to receive, because you deserve it, bestie. Be December.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're here.
It's the end of the year.
At the end of the year.
We're smack in the middle of holiday season. And I love all these holidays. And it's kind of funny because, as nature's slowing down, we're supposed to do the same thing, but things just like ramp up this time of year.
We gotta go. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we don't actually get a lot of rest, right? Because then we go right into New Year's and it's like, set your goals, let's do it. And by the time February hits, we're all just like, ugh.
We're over it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's like a great point to bring up. It's definitely one of those moments where we have to make sure we find that time for ourselves to slow down. I don't know about you, but I'm really excited about this month. For me, it is because I get to see you in person. So excited. Oh, and I can't remember where I was or who I was talking to, but I was talking to someone about you and me. And I was saying, oh, I get to see my bestie in December. And she's like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, my podcast co-host, the one we did the podcast together. And she was like, wait, she doesn't live here? And I'm like, no.
No.
And I was like, we've seen each other once. I mean, we see each other all the time, but we've only seen each other once. And I just think it makes me fall in love with the time we're in so much more because it is possible that we have this deep friendship and we've literally only been together in the physical one time. So yeah, I'm really excited because I get to embrace you again.
I know. It's weird to think about. I'm very thankful for the magic of technology for sure. As much as it can be a pain sometimes, the benefits certainly outweigh the I don't know, other things. Where's my sleep right now?
It definitely outweighs the times that it doesn't work in our favor, I should say.
For sure. Well, I'm excited to look into the energy of this month today. And I feel especially excited and honored because we're going to use my book as an oracle. And it's out now.
Yes.
And this thing I've been waiting for a long time is finally manifest. So that's really cool. And one of the ways when I was writing the book that I wanted to use it was as an oracle because there's 49 sections in it, and every day or every section has an affirmation. And I've been doing this pretty much every Monday on my Instagram account using the book as an oracle to do an intuitive reading for the week. But it's only been me doing it. So I'm really excited to hear what it brings up for you while we're doing this together today. So that feels really special to me. And yeah, I'm excited to share it in this way. So thank you, friend.
You're welcome. I'm excited to do this with you as well because I have been listening to your oracles and I love it. There's so many nuggets of wisdom every single time you share it.
It's fun. And although I have full things that I've written next to each of these affirmations, when I go into it in this intuitive way, I try to not reference that too much and just see what comes through in the present moment. So that's how we'll be using it today. And readers, or not readers, listeners, please let your intuition choose number 1 or number 2. And your intuition knows which message is meant for you today. And Rashida, do you want to be number 1 or number 2?
Let's go with number 2.
Okay. So if you chose number 1, you will be receiving from me today. And Rashida has this book electronically, and I have the paper copy here. So we'll be kind of like flipping through in different ways. So when I'm using it, I like to just flip the pages. And when I get that kind of intuitive yes, that's when I open it up. And it's kind of open on 2 pages, but it opened right to one affirmation today. And this is such a good one. Actually, this is the very first section that I wrote of the book, like the very first day that I sat down to write. This is what came out. Um, so the affirmation is, I love myself. And I think this time of year, December, for a lot of people brings up a lot of shadows and trauma, actually. Like, while it can also be really fun and magical, um, dark stuff happens too. For me, like, I don't feel like I feel this as much in my body now, but for many years, I was I was hospitalized for my eating disorder like the full month of December. This is like 2001. So I think for many years after that, I would kind of have this feeling in my body of feeling kind of tense and shrunk. And, an eating disorder is so much more than relationship with food. But like this time of year, there is a lot of sweets and rich meals and alcohol. There's so much stuff flowing. And for me, like it was such a trigger having those items for a long time. Like I would want to purge them from my body and, all kinds of bad stuff. So, anyway, that being said, it took a long time to heal. So, I just want to acknowledge anybody who maybe this time of year doesn't bring up the happy feelings. Also, like my grandpa died like the day after Thanksgiving, the 2 years after that. So there was just, I don't know, reasons to feel tense, or maybe I'm sorry to go like into into some hard topics right now, but
No,
there's,
don't apologize. This is what's coming
yeah,
through.
like for some people, like there's a lot of pressure to give presents and to like really extend themselves financially in a way that they might not be able to do. There's people who don't have family around them. Like there's a lot of really valid reasons, to not be excited about December. So I do want to say that no matter your situation, or even if it's great, you are still 100% worthy of love. And that can start with self-love, loving yourself.
Mhm.
And self-love doesn't mean just thinking about the qualities of ourselves that we like, however many there might be. It's like truly, in a holistic sense, loving ourselves and showing ourselves compassion. So it's looking at these shadows, it's looking at maybe unpleasant emotions, uh, and kind of pulling back, shining compassionate awareness onto these things. Um, and I think through that compassion, we're able to find this sense of wholeness, this sense of self love. And I like to think of, when it's hard for me to give to myself, I like to think of maybe like my little tiny baby self, or I think of my kid, and when I'm holding her, just like how much I friggin' love her. And if she's worthy of that, why wouldn't I be too? We're all worthy of it for sure. And when we can heal that relationship with self, it really makes such a huge difference with our outer relationships. And I think, has a ripple effect in society. Like, what if we all loved ourselves? And that's not like not in a narcissistic way, because I don't think that's really love. I think that's like ego and self-preservation and stuff. It's like real,
Mhm.
real love. So maybe think about like, what is love to you? When do you feel most loved? How do you feel most loved? And how can you extend that to yourself? So that's what comes up for me. What about you, Rashida?
I don't I don't know, Lauren. Like you just literally just laid it all out there. I don't really think I have anything to add because as you were talking, I'm like just feeling that in my body. And I do feel the same way you feel. I feel like would make this world a better place. And I feel like part of our job here is, yeah, like knowing what we came here to do, what our purpose is. But within that is like figuring out how to like really, really love who we are. And once we like nail that down, it can be, it will be easier for us to love those around us, even when we don't agree. But yeah, I don't have too much to add. That was beautiful.
Thanks. Thanks.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what you pick.
Okay, here we go. So I have the electronic version, and I'm gonna hold on to the bar here and go up and down and feel like where it wants me to stop here. Okay. And I stopped on I see clearly. And we're laughing because when Lauren sent me the book initially, I was like, oh, I'm just going to do this. And that's the one I stopped on. So obviously, this message is for whomever picked number two. I see clearly. So when I think about this particular affirmation and how, like, this was like the one thing that I wanted most in my life initially, I feel like I was going through so much fog of trying to like figure out who I was, who I'm supposed to be, what's the right thing, that it just felt like chaotic. I felt like the term for me is fog. I just felt like I was walking through fog, like that was my life. And it wasn't until I started doing some inner work to kind of clear some of that chaos and some of like all of the outside influences away, that I could really see clearly for what I wanted for myself. Now, this is twofold. So I feel like for those who pick number two, it is about doing a lot of inner work, but it's also about listening to that little voice inside. I feel like this affirmation goes really good with intuition as well. When we listen to that little voice inside, we have the opportunity to kind of push out the things that aren't really us to give us more clarity in our life. And it's really important for us to see clearly, to open ourselves up to not only like what we physically see on this plane, but like also internally, like what's inside of us. And when I think about how this might, play with the time that we're going into now, the holidays, and us being around, people that we want and maybe that we don't want, like, don't allow family to like be the excuse why you overlook something that makes you uncomfortable. I know for me, when I'm around family, sometimes I just want to be like this goody girl and do everything and just like be that person that I don't see like people for what they are. And I'm not saying that's my whole family, right? But even like when people bring other people over, I choose not to see the thing that's so clearly in front of me. And I think now at this point in my life, like I want to ensure that I am honoring myself in a way that if I don't vibe with something or I don't appreciate something, that I see it for what it is and I make the choice and stand up for myself. And at Lauren, I feel like this goes really good with you. I love myself. Part of that is like seeing things for what they are and opening ourselves up to the truth in a way. So I feel like I can go on and on about seeing clearly, but what do you get?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for all of that. It's really beautiful. Um, one of the reasons I was laughing when you chose this twice is because I've been kind of like rereading the book, and this is what I read this morning before we got on our call together. So it's really fresh in my mind. And it's funny, I was reading it this morning and I'm like, why did I name this chapter I See Clearly? Because it is kind of about clarity. It's in the third eye section, but it's also a lot about like re receiving inspiration.
Mm,
And what I talk about is like being able to, I think, relax and cut the noise out enough to receive
yeah.
through this like clear lens of the third eye, which is so hard to do when things are chaotic, when there's a lot of noise, when there's a lot of like people and energy around you too. And when you were talking, I was thinking about like, Gemma was born at the end of November, and it was during the pandemic and the world was crazy. I'm getting like so emotional talking about this. But yeah, I was up with her like in the middle of the night a lot, and I would just sit in our little chair and like be in this like really quiet space and um like look at the lights on the Christmas tree and just, I don't know, find like a lot of peace and clarity in that, even through hard, chaotic times and through this huge transition in my own life. So I like when I think of this chapter, like in the context of December, I think about like sitting by a fire or sitting by the lights of the tree and being in this like darker, more internal space and like, yeah, finding a lot of peace in that. Um, I don't know. There's like so much going through my head right now. I even think of like I'm like just thinking a lot about birth right now. I'm thinking of like the nativity story even and the song Silent Night and like, this powerful like birth and transmission happening in this like humble darkness. So sorry, I'm like way more emotional than I was expecting. Like
Do
definitely in
not
a space right now.
apologize. Yeah, don't
But
apologize.
yeah, that is to say that like, you know, miracles can occur and can be born within the dark, within the quiet.
Mm,
And whether you take that literally or it's metaphorical, like you're in a dark place right now, like there's still that light inside, and miracles can still be birthed, and inspiration can still be found if you quiet yourself enough to hear it. So that's what it brought up for me.
yeah, I love that so much. When you were talking about like, sitting in that silence and in that dark space to actually like see more clearly, I feel like it's true. I feel like sometimes we are afraid of the dark for whatever reason because it's almost like unknown. Um, but okay, stay with me here with this thought. We have so much anxiety because we want to know, we want to see. And that's where a lot of our angst and our confusion, because there's just so many possibilities around the known, right? What we do know, what we can see. Whereas when we do just take that moment to just sit in the stillness, find that peace, go inward, it literally allows everything else to fall away.
Mm.
And we can see like the truth for what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Mm,
like, there's something about like that's so magical about the lights, this time of year where everything's dark, but there are these little lights, and it's different than like a full blast of sun, right? Um, there's something there's something that just feels good in the soul, and I think by kind of darkening and quieting a lot and focusing on these little like glimmers of joy and of hope and of spirit, um, you know, it just feels like life. It feels like
yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And the contrast there, like the light is so much more beautiful when it's contrasted against the dark. So,
Because it's like it the dark shadows everything, and you're right, like it's that contrast. We can't see there's nothing else like vying for the attention of the lights, right? Like
yeah.
we can see them so clearly because that's all there is to see. And then we can actually like take in the beauty. We're not comparing, we're not, our mind isn't running around looking at the other thing. Like we get to focus and really see the thing that's in front of us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, these are really beautiful. Um, and it makes me feel, I think, in the right place to go into this season and to, enjoy the family and the times of chaos, but to remember to like sit in the dark and appreciate it as well, and just to embrace all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Lauren, I love that we did the reading from your book today. And I'm just going to shamelessly say it. If you have not gotten this book, please go out and get this book. It's beautiful and so full of like little wisdom gems. And friend, I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I forgot to say the name of the book.
Go ahead, girl. Say the name of the book.
Yeah, it's called Embody Your Inner Goddess, A Guided Journey to Radical Wholeness. And yes.
And while we're on it, Lauren, just share just a little bit about what they get. We did the reading, and what else can they expect from your book?
Sure. I call it a feminist manifesto and like a spiritual guidebook for sure. So especially if you're feeling in the darkness, or maybe you've had the light before and you just need a little more direction, all you have to do is get this book and spend like 15 minutes a day, maybe 20 minutes a day with it. So it's designed kind of like a course where we travel up the chakra system. Every day there's a little reading based on these affirmations, some journaling questions, and some sort of like action item or embodiment practice. And you go through these for 7 weeks. And you get to look at like all these different aspects of yourself and connect with the sacred feminine, connect with your inner goddess. And it's not really a way to like improve yourself, although that could be a side effect, I guess. It's more a way to like, yeah, embrace all these different parts of who you are and to embrace your wholeness, the dark and the light. And yeah, it's designed so you don't have to like have any supplies. It's very simple. And I share a lot about my own life, as well as some downloads that came through while writing, like channeled work, as well as a lot of like yogic philosophy, all things I love to nerd out about. And it's my hope in sharing these things about myself that you get to explore your own story vulnerably and with compassion and with a lot of love. So that's what it is. Yeah, you can go through the course like that. And then I recommend, like, when I had people kind of testing out the book last year, they were like, I think I'd like to revisit this like once a year just to see like how things change and where I'm at, and to like as a way to check in with myself. But I also like using it in this oracle way too. I think once you've gone through the whole thing, just to, receive whatever
Flip
information.
and receive.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like a very quick thing to do. Like the readings take, 3 to 5 minutes probably to read through a chapter. So it's meant to just be a quick dose of inspiration.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your light
Thank you.
with this world. You make it a better place.
Thank you, love. Thank you. You do as well. And I love you so much. Thanks for interacting with this with me. And thank you everyone for listening. I hope you have a beautiful December and rest of your calendar year. We're excited, for the rest of the episodes this year, but also to come back in 2024 with some fresh content.
Yeah, so excited.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, love. Well, I will talk soon. Bye, besties.
Thank you so much for joining us for this incredible episode. If you loved it, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and tell all your besties about us.
You can also connect with us on Instagram at Your Spiritual Besties Podcast. And be sure to say hello and share your thoughts about the episode. Love you, bestie. Talk soon.